And we do apologize for the technical difficulties that we've been having for Inside Oakwood this morning, but we're going to jump right in. We're going to go 30 minutes talking to the officers of the class of 2021. Dr. Pollard, thank you so much for being here and bringing your
Hey,
guest today. Good
hey,
morning.
good morning. Good morning, Donna. I'm so excited. I think this is going to be one of our best broadcasts because we've never had these kinds of technical difficulties. So as we were saying before the broadcast, the devil tried to block us, but devil, you picked the wrong day and you picked the wrong group because
Yes,
we've got a group of dynamic young leaders who got so many things to share. And I'm so excited about what they're going to do. The class of 2021, the class officers, these are the people who made it happen and make it happen for our graduating class.
and look at the
Donna, this morning I was looking out my back window. The way I face here, I kind of face a window, and I noticed there was something interesting that I saw a number of different kinds of birds just flitting around. I saw cardinals, I saw robins, I saw mockingbirds, and I saw a bird right on the pitch of the roof, a little common brown sparrow. And I thought to myself, we call it a common brown sparrow. But I bet you in his little mind, there's nothing common about him. He's unique. He is as unique as that robin, that cardinal, and that other bird. And it made me think of a little piece that I read in a book called Student Leaders Start Here. And I want to dedicate this to the senior class leaders. This is what it said. It was talking to collegiate leaders. And many of us started our leadership career in college, in high school, in college. Says, quote, "You were created by God, hardwired with talents and personality traits that are unique to just you."
yes,
There's
yes.
nothing common about that little sparrow, and there's nothing common about the class of 2021. And we're excited to have the leaders in conversation this morning as we prepare for the big graduation weekend of May 9. We're just so excited. So welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you, Donna.
And Dr. Pollard, I'm so excited of the optics here. Just like last night, we have all women behind you, right?
I see that. I see that. That's so exciting. That's so exciting. It's exciting because it shows that God gives his gifts indiscriminately, that
Yes.
God gives his gifts impartially, that God's calling, his biddings, or his enabling. It shows all those wonderful things. So we're excited. We're going to learn today and be inspired as we listen to the voices of our student leaders and their sponsor, Dr. Melissa Richardson, who is doing such a dynamic job in our science and our STEM education program. So we're just grateful for what's going to happen today.
Wow. So we do have well, I don't know if it's all of the officers, but I know we have the key officers here today for Morning Joy, for Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. So we want to talk about that. You know, we don't seem to have a lot of conversations about it. It's just something that happens. But why is it so important for us to have officers for the classes? And this is the class of 2021 officers. Can we speak to the president? To hear from the president.
And the president is Corliss Wilson. Corliss Wilson.
Yes.
So,
good
yeah,
morning.
good morning.
Well,
Good
thank
morning.
you so much, everyone, for this opportunity. This is so exciting. This is like my second time I think that I've been on Oakwood Live or, WJO Inside Oakwood. But every time I come, it's a great experience. So let me just answer the question. But so it's important to have class officers, I think, mostly because you want to be organized, right? So of course we have USM and they do a lot on campus and they have a lot, that they get done. I was part of that as well. But I think it's important for us to have I've seen, right, rather, that to have this source of select students who are focused purposely on graduation, on all things senior, because senior year is like, a lot. That's a whole different ball game. And there's so much to talk about. There's so much to discuss, from academics to the social life to, of course, making sure you're on track for graduation. There's a lot of questions about what do, and you need that body of students that can, create that connection between alum, yes, as we're going to be, but from administration and the faculty and staff, as we see, and the students. And I feel like that's kind of where we are, just to stand in the gap, create that, community and create that conversation and keep it going. Because, there's a lot of things that need to get done and that's what we're here for.
Wow. And you talked about how being a senior just is stressful in itself, but then to be an officer on top of it, I like to always recognize the of seniors because you can always kind of see, okay, you have a lot on your shoulders and you are, and year is just the year that you're like, can we just get this over with, right? But you
yeah.
How do you manage to deal with the stress of just being a senior and all the activities and things that you're involved in, responsibilities you have, in addition to being officers? Why don't we hear from Ms. Taft, and then we'll go to Sydney as well.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank
Good
you
morning.
for the opportunity to be sharing with you all this morning. I would say something that has become especially important this year, juggling senior responsibilities and then officer responsibilities, is time management. So I tell myself, okay, I have to get this done by this day, this done by that day, and just writing everything down in my planner because I will forget. So just writing things down, checking them off as I go, and giving myself different deadlines so that I'm able to juggle all the responsibilities that I have.
Sydney.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
I would say that one thing that has helped me throughout this process is having a great class officer team. We basically have each other to feed off of. So whenever someone either forgets something or needs a reminder, we're always there to help each other. And I think that's very vital in carrying out our duties and carrying out our various responsibilities within ourselves throughout the senior school year.
Well, let's talk about your individual responsibilities. So you're the parliamentarian, Sydney. So tell us about that.
Yes, so as a parliamentarian, I basically keep the order within the meetings and make sure that everyone speaks on their turns. I'm also basically the right-hand person to the lovely president, so any assistance that she needs, I'm there to help her, and any other class officer, if they need my help, I'm always there to help them keep things organized and keep things on track, make sure we get things done by their certain due dates.
And Leanna Taft, you are the senior class secretary. So, I mean.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on, tell us about your responsibility.
So as a secretary, my main responsibility is to keep the meeting minutes, and I make sure that whatever happens in the meeting, that all the officers are able to look back and be informed if they miss a meeting. Not only are they supposed to be informed, but I'm supposed to make sure that those meeting minutes are accurate. And so we keep a record of what has happened so we can go back and look if we forget, oh, what did we say about this? It's in the meeting minutes. And then whatever else needs to be done, I'm willing to step up and do that as well.
Okay, all right. So you all have some very, very important roles as officers with your class, but there's also another person that's helping you guys with this. This is your sponsor. So let's bring in Dr. Melissa Richardson and ask her a question about what it's been like as sponsor. And is this your first time being a sponsor of a class? And what?
Yes, good morning. Yes, this is my first time. And my first and very honored time to be the sponsor for this class. And as a sponsor, what I see my role is kind of an advisor and supportive role. So there are many people, many parts involved in having these seniors graduate and move on from Oakwood. I'm just one of many people involved in that process, but I'm here if they have questions or they need someone to come and support them, or just some feedback, cheerleader. That's kind of the role that I see myself as.
Well, I've always thought of myself as not being able to be a class sponsor because I'm just too controlling, I think. So you can't, I'm like, okay, y'all need to do it this way. You need to have this, but you can't really be that way as a class sponsor. Is that true?
Yes, I mean, it's their class, it's their graduation, it's their memories and legacy. So, unless I see something completely going off the train tracks, I give them the freedom to express themselves and kind of drive how they want their graduation and to go. So I give them the freedom, not controlling.
For you. Dr. Pollard, I don't know if I could do it. I really do.
Oh, it's fun. You could do it. I mean, when you see the when you see the skill and the commitment and the passion of our students, it becomes very easy. It becomes very easy. And as I look at, I'm thinking about this idea of student leadership, that these experiences actually matter in the lives of students. I remember my first leadership experience at Oakwood University. I was working for the AY Society. And back then we used to take residence hall worships to every worship. So we Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, called it AY Comes to You or something like that.
Right.
And so we actually sponsored worships, because again, our students think that the criticism that, man, worship is so boring, that's new. But 40 years ago, students were saying that too. So that was one of our ways of trying to respond to it. But out of that, the next year I was elected to be the AY leader. And that forever changed my life. I went from being a consumer of what happens on Friday evening to actually being a producer, crafting the experience. And each of these leaders here, they have helped craft the experience of our senior class. And I'm just so proud of them. They're so future oriented, and yet they're also focused. From what I've heard, my conversations with them, they're focused on how we can have a wonderful senior year experience and a great graduation weekend, because that's a big part of our planning too. We're excited about that.
Now, before we go, we want to talk about that and give everybody, all our listeners, details about graduation coming up next week. But let's talk about COVID-19, how it has impacted your leadership responsibilities during this period, because this is unprecedented times. How has that impacted your roles as officers and a sponsor for the 2021 class? Anybody can start out. We'll just go around.
I can start. So I think I would say that literally from the beginning, everything was impacted from COVID. So usually senior class officers are elected in the first semester, probably in, September, October, and we were not elected until December, January. So that was, a very interesting process. And to be a couple months behind, that means, at least for me, my agenda was that, we want to hit the ground running as soon as possible. So, obviously, even the way that we've done, all of our class meetings are on Zoom. The limited interaction, obviously, as seniors, not being able to see each other, and we can't even, really have the type of senior trip that one would want to have. It's not like we could be on the beach, right? Because, you have to stay in Huntsville. So almost everything that we've had to do, all of our events, which we've had some despite, right? But all of our events, our meetings, everything has to be COVID friendly, right? So, other than saying like literally everything from the beginning, we always want to keep that in mind, because, the last thing you want is to have, COVID with the seniors. Nobody wants that. So I think that is all that I have to say on that. If anybody else wants to, go ahead.
Well, you're listening to WJOU 90.1 FM, licensed to the Oakwood University, located in Huntsville, Alabama. All right, so Leanna Taft, could you tell us how COVID-19 has impacted you and your roles as you work as the secretary? Well, senior class secretary.
Yes, so I would say that for us as officers, it has forced us to be more creative. Of course, we still want to make memories as seniors, but the pandemic is looming over our heads. So we've definitely had to think outside the box about ways to meet as a class, way to still make memories, but also be safe at the same time. And of course, graduation, we want to have a great graduation, but we also want to stay safe. So just brainstorming and thinking about good ways to be able to still do those things, but remain healthy at the same time.
All right. Sydney?
I would say COVID has impacted me as parliamentarian in the sense that everything now has been pushed back in terms of due dates. So we would have to work a little faster than usual. And we would also have to make sure everything is organized within the specific time frame in order to make sure things run smoothly. I think also a big emphasis that COVID has placed on the senior class officers is communication, especially communicating to our class. We've had to find various ways through social media, through email, through phone call and text to communicate to all students, not only the undergraduates, but the LEAP students and the master students who are also graduating. They're not on social media, some of them, so we would have to communicate to them and make sure they know when certain deadlines are and when certain things need to be turned in. And so that's how COVID has impacted the senior class officers and me as a parliamentarian.
Wow. Now let me talk to Dr. Richardson, because this is your first time, you said, as a sponsor. So you really don't have anything to kind of compare it to, like pre-pandemic sponsorship. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? Or how's it worked out? Maybe it's not good and bad, just how's it worked out for you? This being
So one of my favorite events all year, honestly, is graduation. I graduated with a class of 2009, and each year when I get to participate in graduation, the seniors don't know this, but I truly celebrate with every single one of them, whether I know them or not personally. I'm just so thrilled to see them, getting their journey, completed to this point. And so for me, being that that's how my heart is, it's very hard not being able to interact with a lot more seniors this year, especially knowing that they're about to leave. And I'm happy about that, and it's bittersweet, but I wish I could have more interaction with them personally, like events, but I understand, COVID. So that's how it's affected me. I wish I could, but I can't support them that way. And it's kind of support from a distance. So I'll just have to wait until graduation and say, so happy for you, but that's about all I could do.
Well, do you feel like you've had to like create the wheel of how to be a sponsor during environments like this, the pandemic? Or,
Well, not necessarily so much. I think as much as like others have adapted to like the virtual setting that we've become accustomed to over the past year. So for me, I feel like it's just the new normal communication. So this new sponsor role and how we're communicating is all I know. So there's not much recreating here. It's just like how it is, progressing and how I would have liked it to progress. So that's the difference for me.
So as seniors, officers, how have you been able to encourage the underclassmen through this pandemic as well? Did your roles involve that at all in helping them get through this? Since you were here before pandemic, you're here during pandemic, and just tell me, how have you been able to do that, or if that even played a role in your responsibilities?
Well, I feel like I haven't had, I'm a navigator, but outside of being a navigator, being a class officer, I think just us doing what we're doing and being the example. I think one thing that I've kind of had to like let sink into myself is that I'm really like a senior, because of course, you're a senior and stuff like that, but I'm always so used to looking up to everybody. So I just woke up, one day I'm ready to look around, and then all of a sudden I realized, wait, no, the eyes are on me, the eyes are on us. So I feel like as class president and as class officers, the best thing that we can do, especially since, we don't have much time to really interact, is to just, set the example. So I feel like I'm really excited for the underclassmen who are still going to be able to experience at Oakwood, como se dice, even if it's not what they thought, coming in the future. So I just like to encourage them and just show them, we made it through. Our class is so resilient. That is our word. That is our theme, resilience, because we've been through, oh my goodness, so much, and we got a lot going on. But I think just showing our strength and showing that even though, our senior year was basically non-existent, we still persisted. So that means that y'all don't even have an excuse, y'all gonna make it, y'all gonna do it good, better than us. So I feel like that's kind of what we do and how we show that example to them.
Your theme is one word: resilience.
Yes, ma'am. Resilience. I think that our class, not just personally outside of COVID, right? Even if you take COVID away, personally, financially, spiritually, I just think that our class has really gone through a lot. And I think that's for a reason. I've seen so many acceptances and even rejections, right, from schools that we may have applied to, because our class is so talented and our class is so gifted. And we have so many people who the devil was like, oh, when they come out, they're going to be something. So he really tried us during this time, even sophomore year, with the passing tragic death of our friend Carvel Goodlow, right? And so even if you take those two things, our class has been resilient. You know, we have a large graduating class, in my opinion. It's so good to see so many of us who like we started with, or even it doesn't matter when, you know, when. So yeah, resilience is our word, resilience.
Sydney and Leanna, do you feel like you're also just encouraging the underclassmen with your resilience as well?
I would say yes. I'm a biology major, and this year I've been able to spend a good amount of time in the biology department, just talking, especially to sophomores and a couple of freshmen. And as they like listen to me talk about, you know, taking the MCAT or applying to medical school, they've been encouraged by what I've had to share. And as Corliss was saying, I kind of looked around one day and was like, oh, I am the senior. And so just, you know, making it to this point, I think, despite all of the challenges, is guidance in and of itself to them about how you navigate hard times. And yeah, talking to them has definitely been a benefit. And I've been able to encourage them and just share with them that, you know, you can make it. Even if certain doors close, it doesn't mean that it's the end.
Sydney?
Yes, I agree with both Leanna and Corliss. I believe that the very few interactions that I've been able to have with the underclassmen, I've been able to show and prove to them that you could really do anything. There's going to be multiple different blockages throughout life, but you could persevere through. And so I think that should be like a leading example and inspiration to all underclassmen. You know, nothing can stand in your way, especially if you really want it. So shout out to the undergradmen.
That's amazing. Dr. Pollard, resilience. I just love, love, love that that's the theme, because it's just so fitting.
It's remarkable, isn't it? It's actually remarkable. Corliss and I had a conversation, I guess about 2 Fridays ago, Corliss, maybe 2 Fridays ago, that I was so impressed that I actually took the conversation to our board in full session, because I asked Corliss 2 or 3 questions about the impact of COVID on their matriculation as seniors. And she identified 3 areas. One was academic impacts, the other had to do with social impacts, and the third had to do with financial impacts. So many families were adversely impacted, and yet this class is still standing. I mean, it's remarkable. It's a testament to their resiliency and to God's grace. And I'm just so proud of them. And I think we all should be proud of them. I looked at the yearbook that's going to characterize their year, and it had mask up. I mean, think about that. This is a once in a century experience.
Really?
That's the thing, mask up. It's beautiful. The yearbook is beautiful, but it actually commemorates this year of COVID for students who matriculated. This will be a once in a lifetime experience. It will fingerprint them for the rest of their lives. And I think the good fingerprinting will be, they not only survived, they thrived in the midst of the pandemic. And that's an example of God's grace. I'm just so pleased and so inspired by your testimonies this morning. Also, when I think about Corliss sometimes, though, I do go back. I've told the story to her dad. I do go back to when I met her at was it Oakwood Live? Was it Oakwood? What we call it then, college days. And I remember sitting at the table with her, and she said, "You know, I'm not coming to Oakwood, right?" Okay. So whenever I see her now, I call her Miss Corliss, not coming to Oakwood Wilson. That's what I call her.
That's me.
Corliss,
Yep.
Yeah, I'm so glad,
That's
so
me.
proud of what she's done. So proud.
Wow, that's just amazing. So let's talk about graduation, because that's coming up. And it's just so, I mean, it was prophetic though, I guess, in their freshman year, it was mask up, right? And then year, now they're masked up.
Yeah, it's amazing. So graduation this year, we got just some quick things. We've got we've got speaking for Friday evening, Pastor Darnisha Thomas, who's going to do our consecration service, and then at the 11 o'clock service, which is virtual. These first 2 are virtual. Then at 11 o'clock service, we've got Dr. Alex Bryant, who is the president of our North American division and a graduate of Oakwood University. So we're very grateful for that. And then for the commencement, we've got attorney, speaker, commentator, Bakari Sellers from CNN, who is also a member of Andrew Brown's legal team, I'm told. So He's going to be our guest speaker for their commencement, so they'll never forget that. But also Monday, we've got an interview with him here at Inside Oakwood. So we're going to do that, kind of talk about what he's doing, and it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be wonderful. So that's the production side. The students can tell us about the experience side.
All right. Well, are you looking forward to graduation, and what are you going to be doing after graduation?
Oh, yes. I'm really excited for graduation. I think right now, at least the class officers and I kind of share the same sentiment that this week, like 7 days, I don't even know what days it is now, but between now and grad is like go time for us, right? So as of right now, I'm not too excited, only because I know that I have a lot of work to do and I just want to focus on that. But once like 5, 6 comes around on Saturday, I'm just going to be focused on my speech. I'm going to be so excited, to do that stuff. And after graduation, I'm actually going to be attending American University to get my master's in ethics, peace, and human rights, I think. So that's in Washington, D.C. And I'm really excited to, just start my graduate professional degree journey, all that stuff. So yeah.
Great school. I know about that school.
Thank you.
Before we go to the other students, let's ask Miss Melissa, Dr. Melissa Richardson. I know she's the sponsor, but are you looking forward to graduation, even though you can't hug and do all the celebrations that you're used to doing?
Look, I'm part of the circuit that when that electricity goes through the air, I'm part of that circuit. I'm going to be cheering so hard. I take a lot of pictures. I send them in emails to people. I'm just so excited. I can't wait. I literally can't wait to celebrate with everyone.
Sydney, how are you feeling right now?
I am very excited. At the same time, I'm kind of sad, only because, of course, due to COVID, it's not the same. I won't get to see all of my dear seniors and my friends before we all leave. Of course, some of them will not be in attendance at the actual ceremony, so they'll only be there virtually. But just knowing that we've all persevered and made it to this point is very encouraging and helps me push forward in the future into whatever I continue to do. Wherever I end up, I'm always inspired by the class of 2021.
All right, Leanna.
I don't think that it has fully hit me yet how soon we're graduating. Yesterday, we got the opportunity to walk through the Von Braun, and I saw where we'll be sitting next week, and I started getting a little bit emotional, but I don't think it has fully, I haven't realized yet that it's coming that soon. After graduation, I'll be going to medical school, and I'll be pursuing a dual degree in medicine and a master's in public health. So more school for me, and that's my plan.
Hey, Cindy, did you mention, or did I just get glazed over or something? I don't know. What are you doing after graduation? Sometimes I just...
Sorry. I will be taking a year off just to, get my things together. But afterwards, I do plan on going on to medical school so I can pursue my career of being an obstetrician anesthesiologist.
Nice. Great. Wonderful futures ahead for you. So Dr. Pollard, next week is graduation. What's the exact date and everything? Is it open to the public?
Yes. Well, it's not. Well, no. Everything virtual is open to, yes. So everything virtual is open to the public. But we've got very strict controls about the Saturday night event in the interest of protecting our students and protecting the community. So each student is given 8 tickets. Was it 8, Lissy? 8 tickets, right? Everybody's got 8 guests that they can invite, and everything will be socially distanced at the Von Braun. So the public can't swarm there. We want the public to experience Mr. Sellers, Attorney Sellers, on Monday as he does his interview with us about so many important things that are happening and his excitement about speaking for our senior class. But I think that as we think about it, the graduation, we have to have monitoring and controls because, again, we are still in the midst of this incredible pandemic, aren't we? We're still in the midst of it. So the graduation weekend, 7, 8, 9, graduation, 7, 8, 9, and there will be some other virtual events before. So just go to our website and get the information. www.oakwood.edu. But again, it's on Mother's Day weekend, and Saturday night is the actual final commencement service. Begins at 8 o'clock, and hopefully we'll get you out by 10. By 10,
Yeah.
we're aiming to get out by 10. But again, the experience of joy is so great, and it's so bottled up from COVID's distancing that we're going to work to get out at 10, but we're going to let the students enjoy the moments.
All right. Dr. Ball, any final comments you want to make before we close out?
No, but just tune in on Monday when we have our special guest speaker for our commencement for our seniors, Attorney Bakari Sellers. Please join us then. And again, we're excited to be on Inside Oakwood. And seniors, thank you so much for your service to your institution. You didn't have to take on additional leadership, but you did. And God will bless you because of your commitment. And Dr. Richardson, thank you for being such a delightful sponsor. It feels like you're one of the students graduating. You're so excited. And thank you for reliving that experience and for sharing of your own professional self with our students. Thank you so very much.
All righty. Thank you so much. And congratulations again to our class of 2021 graduating on Mother's Day weekend next month. We are so proud of you guys. And thank you for joining us for Inside Oakwood with Dr. Leslie Pollard. We'll see you again on Monday. We're going to be speaking with Bakari T. Sellers, an attorney, political commentator, politician, and a CNN contributor. He'll be the speaker for the commencement coming up, but he's our speaker and our guest for Inside Oakwood on Monday. So join us.